Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of the Retail Experience. Today, as promised, I've got a list of stupid shit that I have heard at work. For those of you who don't know, I used to work for Verizon. So primarily I dealt with setting up accounts, tech support, and in this case, stupid ass questions. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. This first one came from an elderly gentleman who had questions regarding his email, which we had nothing to do with. We are a phone company, not an email company, so we didn't help with any of that stuff. But he needed to recover his email, although he couldn't remember his password. I believe that was the situation. And one thing he said was just so incredibly dumb that he is the reason I started this list. He's the genesis of this whole shitstorm. He said, quote, "I think my email is 1930. End quote, obviously. I don't know if he meant 1930 is the year he was born or the year that he lost his mind, but clearly that's just nonsense. Our next one, a lady came in. She had AT&T, so once again, nothing to do with us, and said, "I have AT&T and my SIM card isn't working. Would a Verizon SIM card work for it?" There's a lot of flaws with what she said. Primarily being SIM cards are what activate your phone's plans. They don't store any memory. They don't do any of that nonsense. That's like basically putting diesel fuel into your normal gasoline car and wondering why it's not working. So that really just hurt my brain. Another one. This one was a constant thing. This woman came in every month to pay her bill. And in the phone industry, whenever you say you want to upgrade your phone, usually, well, pretty much 100% of the time, that means you want to get a new phone. So she said, "I want to upgrade my phone," which she meant pay her bill. Now, she's on a prepaid account, which means that you can't upgrade your phone. Prepaid accounts are like the cheapest option. It's not as good as a consumer account. So anyway, I tell her she can't upgrade a prepaid, and she said she's not on a prepaid. I'm like, "Yeah, you are. I'm looking at it." And she said that she wants to pay her bill and upgrade her phone. And so after a couple, I'd say probably about a minute or so of us going over this, one of my coworkers comes over and she's like, "Oh, hey, she just wants to pay on her prepaid plan." I was like, "Why didn't you fucking say so?" So yeah, just they're not in touch with the vernacular of the Verizon salesman. This next one's really interesting. She said, this is a separate woman. She had problems regarding her bills. And she said, "I like paying my bills the old-fashioned way. So I changed my password on my banking app so they can't take money out." I don't even need to explain that one. This one is my personal favorite of the first page. I don't know what possessed this old man to tell me this or what was going through his mind. Maybe his mind was lost in 1930 as well. He said, "I tried resetting my password to his Verizon account, and it wouldn't work, and I swear it nearly brought me to masturbation." Now, I don't know about any of you, but I've never been in the situation where I've been so stressed or frustrated that I need to go crank one out just to calm down. But apparently that is how this old man relieved his stress. What I can't understand is what possessed him to tell a Verizon employee whom he had never met that his anger and frustration can only be contained by him blasting rope. Now, I feel like I can't end on a masturbatory tale, so we'll just keep going down the list. Continuing with a customer that had called our store saying that someone needed access to her bank account. Someone called her saying that they needed access to her bank account. Thankfully, she did not give them that information. However, when she called us, she wanted us to call them. As for what reason, I don't know. Maybe she wanted us to hack into their phone and blow it up remotely. I don't know, but it was something that we couldn't do, obviously. Now, moving on to our next customer. This person is a repeat customer, and in the phone industry, repeat customers, at least to me, are not good, because usually they'll come in with questions regarding things that we have nothing to do with, or complaints, or this, that, or the other. Usually whenever someone gets a phone, it's about every 2 years or so. So we don't really need to see them until 2 years. But anyway, this woman comes in needing a long charging cord. I told her that we have a 10-foot cord. And she said, "Is 10 feet a long cord?" To which I replied, "I'd say so." And then she said, "When does your Black Friday start?" And I said, "Probably on Black Friday." And she said, "Is that after Thanksgiving?" Which, if you don't know, Black Friday is always right after Thanksgiving. Now, that woman has always been kind of a problem customer, and I think I know why. Where I live, we have an average age of 47 years old, which I think would be a whole lot older if we didn't have a college here in town to kind of make the town seem a little bit younger. And I'm sure a lot of you probably already know this dealing with your own elderly relatives, but old people are not tech savvy. And that was a word that I heard so many times working for Verizon and even AT&T. Old people would come in. I'd say I'd probably heard it 2 or 3 times a day. "Oh, I'm not very tech savvy." Some of the problems were easy. Primarily iPhone users, they would come in, their phone was muted with the little toggle on the side, but they didn't know that. They'd come in a hoot and a holler, "Oh my gosh, my phone, it won't ring. I've had people try to call me. I'm losing business," or "I can't reach my grandkids," this, that, or the other. "Can you help me?" Those are the good customers I like to deal with, because it's a very simple fix. I switch the toggle, give the phone back, and I'd say probably 100% of the time they didn't really seem embarrassed by it, but more laughed it off like, "Oh my gosh, thank you very much." And that was a good feeling. But then there were the other people who would come in with questions or issues that had nothing to do with Verizon that you've just heard. But that's just working retail, especially with an elderly population. So thankfully, I no longer work for Verizon. I'm able to do, something I thoroughly enjoy and all that. So that's the end of this video. I will see you all next week for episode, 6? I don't know. I'm always getting the numbers wrong. We'll finish out the list, and then we'll go on to some viewer stories and whatnot. So stay tuned. And as always, till next time.